Welcome one more time to the Unifier Hour, the time where we come together for can listen to the Unifier, Dr. Richard Conte, for can hear about in views, in hopes, in aspirations for Sierra Leone. I welcome everybody and I bring greetings to Una. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on the time where you go tune in for listen, whether you did listen live in whatever time zone you did. I just want to remind everybody, we don't tune in with we do share the link, send it to your friends, send it to your friends of friends. And the easiest way for share the link now for just share www.unifier.com www.unifier.com. From that platform there, you go able for connect to any of we social media platform them. We day on YouTube, we day on LinkedIn, we day on X, we day on WhatsApp, we day on TikTok. We day on all the social media platform then, so you can catch we day and listen to it from any one of them. I also want for just say today, last week we've been get to one person be asked we about reaching us through a line. So yes, I want for also give another line there in case una go want for call in for ask questions. I will give you a couple of minutes for maybe pen and paper, and I go give you another number there as we they go. As usual, we're not waste time at this show. We they call the Unifier, Dr. Richard Conte, for making can on and can bring a greeting to you all. Dr. Richard Conte. Unfortunately, until we have no internet na salon, not always the fastest. So we know say Dr. Conte there with we because he been there with we at the backstage just a few moments ago. So let we patient. He will join we soon, and we will get for you from now the purpose that we make with there for the 1 hour where we can come and for can listen to Dr. Conte as I say. And last week we know say some people let me ask some question then the above say then go hear Dr. Conte answer some of them question then today. I want for make we understand say Dr. Conte not a spokesman for APC. Yes, na senior comrade. Yes, na senior stakeholder na the party. However, he's not a spokesman for the party. So some question they way some people they ask. I want to make them understand. Say then question then they go be better answered by the spokesman for the party. And I'm sure we all get the ways and methods and means for which we party executive. So I go encourage you if you know your question asked and answered here today. That's not the reason. And I go encourage you now for forwarding question and day to the appropriate people then at the party. Dr. Conte, you get the platform, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much, Fambul and good evening. Happy now as always for come. And I look forward to some very good engagements, very good discussions today. And I hope we'll be able to share with thoughts about how we can push with party, APC, and we country go before. Thank you very much, Valda, for getting here, and I look forward to very fruitful discussions.
Thank you so much, Dr. Conte. And I want for pick up what we've been left off last week. Last week, we don't get chance for go to the question then we some of we audience be asked. And one of the important topic that we've been talking about last week, now the Tripartite committee and their mandate. So before we go to the question there where we audience they ask, I mean just want for follow up on that one day. I know see you be mentioned to we say the committee for meet, I think it was on Tuesday. And we just want to know if that meeting they happen, and if that meeting they happen, if any possibility there where you can update we on the progress, without usurping the purpose and the relevance of the committee. If anything there where you can share with me on that one day, because I'm say all man they hang on, they try to figure out what thing they go on with this. I'm not quite sure if Dr. Conte they hearing me. I go ask we manager for just check on whether Dr. Conte they hearing me. Dr. Conte they hearing me, sir?
At the area now, yes.
Okay. I've been they ask say last week one of the important topic that we've been talk about now the tripartite committee, and you've been mentioned say then go get a meeting. And I've been they try for follow up on that, and they say if the meeting be actually happen, and if there's anything about that meeting and the progress of the committee where you can share, of course, without usurping the relevance and the purpose of the committee, where you can share with we. And also, I just want to say, this committee, it don't become central in discussions around, Salon and with progress. So if you can just reiterate a little bit again, the purpose of the committee, and then maybe give you some information about progress so far. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, but things that you want to know about the tripartite committee, which side we don't reach now, we work and after we don't come. Well, I'm pleased for say the work of the tripartite committee don't start effectively on the 9th of this month. But before that, a subcommittee being work on the terms of reference for the secretariat, looking for support the work of the tripartite committee. And that's secretariat, they will start their work on the 5th and then complete on the 8th and present the reports to the tripartite committee. We don't also conclude on the rules of proceedings. Now we're at the verge of harmonizing the terms of reference where we get for use for guide the operations. And we don't start the harmonization process. A subcommittee, they don't work, they don't present their report. And now the full committee, they try for go over that entire process and adopt them as the terms of reference will guide with discussions. So yes, the work is progressing with the hope say the engagement will continue in the spirit with which we don't start.
Thank you so much, Dr. Conte. We appreciate you insight and you sharing this information with we, because we know say what people then they try for figure out some of waiting at the work of this committee. And thank you for where the update we. I want to turn a little bit to some of the economic issues in the country. A lot of waiting we can try for bring up Naya. Now, part of waiting with the Yeri, they go on either through social media or through a lot of conversations where they go on about the country and how they impact people them. So one of the things that we hear a lot about, especially in the diaspora, now flights into Sierra Leone and the cost of their flights there. So there's questions and suggestions around the developing of direct flights to Salon. I wonder if you can throw, maybe just share your own point of view with respect to whether how this go impact the economy, and whether you go subscribe to the developing of direct flights, especially from places like the US, Canada, and the UK. Okay, folks, dear, I ask gonna for be patient. The internet today look the bug, and from my own experience na Salon, I understand say certain time then the network then just knocking work. Also midday na ya, it's very, very windy. So all the internet they can affect sometimes. But we get Dr. Conte with me again. Dr. Conte, you be hearing me question, sir?
No.
Okay, I say
I don't get your question.
When they look into the diaspora, because a lot of people then at the diaspora, they feel like, see, they're not quite sure how they can contribute to the country with respect to organized contributions. And one of the things that we can stand in the way,
I sure say now from on our side the problem they can be stable.
the the internet.
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead, sir.
No, I don't get the question at all.
Okay. Well, people then they look foresee the development of direct flights, mostly because the cost for flight cancel alone is extremely expensive, and it entail a lot of layovers. So people then they try to figure out whether the development of direct flights, especially from places like US, Canada, and UK, how then they go impact the economy. Oh my goodness. And whether you go subscribe to something like Dandy as a positive way for improve travel.
Well, the issue of direct flights now a function of several factors.
Okay. Maybe people then we just get for beer. Now so the internet look they work with me today. But every time Dr. Conte can, he go just take the stage. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, the issue about airlines for fly direct to Freetown from different parts of the world. Now the ideal situation that, but I want to make we understand say not to think we just easy what happen. These airlines are business that they do, and if they come direct to Sierra Leone, then get forget the volumes in terms of passengers where they fly in and out of Sierra Leone for make economic sense. Clearly, Sierra Leone not get the volumes we go able to justify many flights for coming to Sierra Leone. Even the few flights where they come in get their own challenges. Wouldn't make they make that much money. Pass then get for the group with maybe Liberia or Senegal for Air Senegal or Morocco, as the case may be, before they're able, or Guinea, even for Air France, before they're able to get the volume where they need to make them travel. Added to that are the cost of landing in Alunge and the cost of parking in Alunge and the cost of handling all of the transactions that take place in Alunge. We airport in Alunge, one of the most expensive airports anywhere in the world. And it's so very expensive for fly in and out of Lunge, and a big problem. And we also get the issue of the approvals for make them fly certain types of jets into the airport. We serve as a country, therefore meet certain requirements as provided for by the International Civil Aviation Authority. And they can do their annual assessments of the airport and the facilities that we provide. And if we don't meet those standards, there's certain types of airlines who use certain types of planes, just not going to Burkina Sierra Leone. So yes, ideally we want that to make them get direct flights, but it will take a whole lot of work for make it happen. There was a time where we get arrangement with British Airways, where they fly direct to Sierra Leone from the UK. We get Brussels, we get Air France and others who they fly in, but most of them don't stop for various reasons. But I believe, say, when we make Sierra Leone attractive again, when we make business for flow, when we make foreign direct investment come into the country and the volumes of transport are increased, and then we reduce the cost of transactions that we airport and make Sierra Leone a safe and free country for fly in and do business, I believe, say, we'll be able to attract many more airlines that will negotiate certain deals so we will make it attractive for the Focam Sierra Leone. Yes, we need for bring down significantly the cost of air travel. Even if we want for tourism to Sierra Leone at the moment, we cannot do it under the current dispensation. It's just impossible because it's just too expensive. If it can take you less than $1,000 for flight to the Gambia or to Ghana, why if you pay $3,000 for coming to Sierra Leone? Nobody will do it. And I think these are some of the bottlenecks we face. And this government will also implement certain measures where they will make the whole thing worse. Now people even prefer for flight to Guinea and come to Salone than for Sierra Leone. Some people they even go Liberia and come by road. That is really, really bad. I think say as a government, when we eventually take back the reins of power, we could take those steps to make sure we make Sierra Leone attractive again, reduce the costs, we attract more airlines for coming, and they make business.
Thank you so much, Dr. Conte. With respect to reducing the costs, we know say Salone just get a new terminal attached to Lunge. How much time you think say it would take we for pay off, the cost of building that terminal? We go put we in a position for begin for even consider reducing costs in with respect to flights and airlines and things like that?
Well, the first question I go ask you now, what are the cost of building that terminal? We don't hear say it costs anywhere close to $300 million. That's just for the first phase. And when there's a second and third phase. By the time they finish the 3 phases, maybe you don't go over $1 billion. And we understand say this.
Okay, folks. It looks like say we don't really get internet issues today in a Salone, but when allow we patient, Dr. Conte will come back on.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
This first phase alone will take about 25 to 30 years for payback. And the terms of the agreement where they sign with this company not very transparent, very opaque, not very.
Folks, we're listening to Dr. Richard Conte talking about the possibility of our government paying off the airport.
Yeah, we don't even know how long it will take, but we don't begin see government don't begin come to a realization that maybe, just maybe, the one that we negotiate that, they're not negotiating in the best interest of Sierra Leone. Because me personally believe, say, that airport could have been built with far less, with about 1/3 of waiting there.
Okay, folks, we could just be a little bit more patient. I noticed one of the comments and say it's not a new terminal, it's a new airport. I think say everybody entitled to their own opinion. I referred to it as a terminal and I'm sticking by my guns.
Yeah, as I say, we believe say the cost where they don't say they spend on this airport is too high. And the conditions where they set for the airport just too high and very bad for Sierra Leone. In fact, it will surprise you for no say right now that airport is not Blantyre. Not till we get her again. Now the one day we build and then get on the swimmer group and then get them until when we get forever done for pay for them. So I don't know how long that they will take, but it's clearly a bad deal, and we pray say that they don't start for renegotiate some of the terms and conditions. We hope say they go do that renegotiation in the best.
Thank you so much, Dr. Conte. With respect to this, I want to go to one of the questions there where one of we viewers there asked last week. And it's kind of a tongue-in-cheek question. He said, I just want to know when Sierra Leone started using dollars, because all we hear is pay this in dollars, pay that in dollars. What's wrong with our own currency?
That's the problem. Where you mortgage your airports to foreign, we don't need loans for transacting business. And maybe the bank said they go take their money, now they get for payback in dollars, and they don't get any guarantee for say they will get their money back. They will get the dollars through the banking system. They will decide to collect and direct from the passengers, which in itself they go against the laws of Sierra Leone, where they require for make we do all transactions in Leones, except for maybe recently where they don't modify that provision day. But all of these things, they further undermine the Leone, they further undermine the economic stability, and they further undermine the whole issue about attempts that they make for revive the economy. And I believe, say, government need to take appropriate steps for reverse that trend.
Thank you, Dr. Conte. The same person asked a personal question. He say, I was a CRS staff. Is this the same Dr. Conte? Doc, you hear me, sir? Okay, I don't think say Dr. Conte get me last question, but hopefully when he come back on, I go ask him again. But we don't hear he say we new terminal longer not belong to we until we pay off the amount of money we cost. Dr. Conte, you be hearing me question, sir?
No, you say it be a CRS staff. You have to know if not Richard Conte.
If not the same Dr. Conte, yes.
Yes, not the same Dr. Richard Conte. We work for CRS as program manager from August 2000 to July 2003.
Okay. I hope say that person they listen and you don't get your answer. Okay. Dr. Conte, I want for ask you, based on some of the question then we people didn't ask last week, we, as I say at the top of the program, you're not the spokesman for the APC, so therefore I'm not going to ask you the question. But I think say one of the things that we can't through in then question then the significance of the diaspora or the responsibility of the diaspora. So I want to ask you, whose role you see the diaspora playing with respect to building the economy?
Well, I think say the diaspora is very important. Back I take a country like Ghana, there was a time where remittances from the diaspora alone they account for about 1/3 of the GDP. So in that respect, the diaspora gets a very important role to play through the remittances to the country. They bring in a lot of capital and they help for sustain the economy in a great extent. Two, the diaspora can also do investments in Sierra Leone and then get the capacity for raise loans from wherever they stay and come and invest in Sierra Leone, either in housing or in other types of investment, other types of businesses, ICT, etc., etc. There's that possibility. Direct investment into the country, they can do it. But more importantly, they can also bring human resource capacity into the country. And I believe, say, we get a whole lot of Sierra Leoneans. If you look in the medical field alone, if you go to Germany, the number of professional medical doctors where they in Germany, when a salon, they promote. If they all kind of salon, not one problem. If you go England, if you go America, the number of Sierra Leonean doctors who specialize in different fields, we know they will come back. There's so plenty. I believe say, this is true for different fields. And so if we government able to create the enabling environment for make them come back and render their services to the country, I think say it could be very, very helpful. So yes, the diaspora gets a role for play. They can help through their remittances, they can help through direct investment into the country, they can help through direct human resource capacity development. So even when we talk about we efforts for ensure say we get investors for employed Sierra Leoneans, we go only able to actualize them if we get Sierra Leoneans in country with the expertise we required for that. So we hope say Sierra Leoneans where they out there will see reason why they for come back and contribute to the development of this country.
Thank you so much, Dr. Conte. I want to do a little bit of a turn here, kind of along the same lines, but it's no secret anymore. Say we country, they experience deep divides along regional, along political lines, along tribal lines. I want to ask you again, with respect to the diaspora, whose responsibility you see the diaspora get with respect to trying to ameliorate the impact of this divide?
Repeat your question, dear.
I say, we know say Salon, they go through
Repeat your
some
question.
divides. You hear me, sir? You hear me, sir? Okay, I'm not sure if Dr. Conte is hearing me right now. But the question why they try for ask again now with respect to the responsibility of the diaspora. We know say not a secret. Say we country they experience some serious divides along political, regional, and tribal lines. And I been want to ask Dr. Conte if you see any role where the diaspora can play for try for ameliorate this then divide there in our country. Dr. Conte.
I'm not hearing you.
Okay.
Repeat your question.
What here I say is not a secret. Say Salon right now, they experience some serious divides along political, tribal, and regional lines. And I been want to ask you if you see any role, any significance for the diaspora in trying to ameliorate this divide and fostering unity.
I don't think say that role like a role where you go reserve just for the diaspora. I think say a role for all unions in we various places there, in places of work, in places where we do business, but more importantly, for we they in politics, we they in leadership roles, we pronouncement, the way they perform with duties, the way we they act, they help for broaden the divide. And unfortunately, we get politicians that we believe say the easiest way for make them get support from the people that are for preach tribalism. But say, you see, that's why we come under. If we not allow them make them get power, then they can't kill we all. But lie. They're not saying a lie. So they instill fear in the people for make them believe say, now then no more, it will protect the people there. Sadly, they don't get nothing what they do for the people there. They just exploit them, exploit their ignorance. And that is wrong. And me personally believe say, not only a united States will develop. Dividing the country along tribal lines, along political lines, along regional lines, it don't help anybody. We therefore give every Sierra Leonean an equal and unfettered opportunity
Okay, folks, we go just give Dr. Conte a minute or two for make it come back with we. Dr. Conte, go ahead, sir. In the meantime, while we wait for let Dr. Conte join we, I've been promised for giving the number where una can reach we on today. If una get any questions, we wanna one call into the show. Here is the number. I hope so when I be done get on a pen and paper ready. Here's the number. Now +232 75 052 135. I will repeat that number there again. +232 75 052 135. Anybody will get questions where you go on for call in and ask the unifier, you're welcome to call on that line. If we don't get Dr. Conte back, I go allow him for continue in response. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah. So really, I not think say dividing this country is helpful, and I pray that this government will take steps for heal. Unfortunately, from where they come to governance in 2018, just to see division. I think saying a high time for let we come together. The
Wow.
The
But they
diaspora,
get some.
since they're not directly affected by the everyday happenings that this country, maybe can just be the best people for try to bridge this gap. But unfortunately, what did not happen at Sierra Leone, that these very diasporans
Folks, we they get serious challenges with the
when they
connections
come back at this
today.
country,
We they apologize to Una. Unfortunately, that's just the way things go in a salon. Not all time we get good connection. Dr. Conte, go ahead, sir. Doc, okay, I go just message me, we manager Naya, make maybe connect with Dr. Conte and try for see how best they can improve the connection and also for let Dr. Conte put on in DND. Okay, well, Dr. Conte being just they try for address the role of diaspora. Go ahead, sir.
yeah, I say the diasporans there before ideally be the most suitable people for help for bridge the gap. But the examples of the diaspora that we don't come into governance after they don't away for 30 years, not indicate that at all. In fact, for some of them, they're even worse than the one that way they meet there. So basically, I have just love to make a problem for we as Sierra Leoneans. Every Sierra Leonean, whether you're a diasporan or you're a home-based Sierra Leonean, we all get a responsibility for unite this country. We all get a responsibility for creating space to make every Sierra Leonean take part in the governance of this country. When you come at this country, they give you a position of trust, like an opportunity and a privilege you get for serve your country. Open up and allow space for make everybody, not segregate anybody, not set everybody apart, not say I they only take people that wake up from this part of the country, that wake up from that part of the country, and not for employ them. No, employ everybody, work with our best for you. And that I feel say we need for doing in this country.
Thank you, Dr. Conte. Absolutely, meritocracy get a role for playing in a salon as opposed to tribalism or regionalism. I want to go to another question where one of we audience been asked last week. And I don't know if the question will make a whole lot of sense to you, Dr. Conte, but I go ask the question the way the person see him. Is say part of the agreement was for the government to release people imprisoned on political grounds. And in question is, has the APC come up with a list? And if so, is it possible to share that list?
Mm-hmm.
And if this question don't make a
APC
whole lot
don't
of
come up
sense.
with a list.
Okay, thank you, sir.
No, I answer the question. APC don't compile a list of prisoners where we believe say they imprisoned them for politically motivated cases, and that list they will don't submit to the government with the await action from the government. Unfortunately, I don't think say now standard practice for me.
Okay, so Dr. Conte, they're in the process of answering a question we come up from one
We
of our
cannot
listeners.
make that list public. We cannot think say APC will make that list public.
Okay, thank you. So listener, whoever you are, there is a list, but the list cannot be made public. That's the short form of the answer with Dr. Konteh. So, Dr. Conte, I know say you've been mentioned a couple of things about how.
Yeah, you get me answer?
Yes. Yes, I get your answer. You've been mentioned a couple of things about how we can try for build unity and solidarity. Your name is Unifier. And I think saying a name we apt now we country, especially at this point in time. You can highlight some of the ways where the Unifier as a movement, not as a person, but as a movement, they work toward unifying Sierra Leoneans. I don't know if if you're there on and if you're hearing me. Okay, maybe Dr. Conte not there on. But my next question to Ram now, I want to see if you can give me some concrete methods with the Unifier movement they employ for first helping Sierra Leoneans move toward unity, and then we as APCans. Dr. Conte, I don't know if you hear my whole question.
No, I'm not hearing.
My whole question is that your name is Unifier, and you they head the Unifier movement. And if you can highlight some of the ways where the Unifier movement they engage with first Sierra Leoneans and then APCans for contribute toward unifying Salone.
Repeat your question. I'm not hearing the question.
I say, if possible, for let you highlight some of the ways where the Unifier movement they engage first Sierra Leoneans and then APCans for work toward unifying the country. I don't know if Dr. Conte is hearing me. We get serious challenges with the connections today. My apologies, everyone. We don't manage for get a few questions answered. I want to encourage anybody we want for reach we and ask Dr. Conte a question. For reach we either by going to www.unifier.com, www.unifier.com, and posting your question on one of our social media platforms, or you can call us live, and that number is +232 75052 135 +232 75052 135. You can call that line to ask a question right now live on the show. As we wait for Dr. Conte, I just want to reiterate some of what he has discussed today. There was a question from one of our listeners last week about whether the APC had come up with a list of people they believed had been imprisoned because of political motivations, and whether that list could be made public. Well, he did confirm that the list had been done and had been submitted to the appropriate authorities. However, that the list wasn't going to be made public, at least not at this time. And I'm sure at whatever point in time, if the party does change their mind and wants to make that list public, we will probably hear it from the party secretariat. He also talked about some of the roles and responsibilities that diasporans had with respect to building the economy. And one of the things that he said that really had an impact on me is encouraging diasporans to come home and to invest. He talked about the brain drain. We have a lot of experts, Sierra Leonean experts, living in the diaspora, living in Europe, living in America, living across the world. And he mentioned one particular aspect of the economy, healthcare. And he mentioned that if some of these people would only come home, then our healthcare would not be in the state that it is in. We all know that people still continue to die from diseases like typhoid and malaria and things that are considered eradicated in the West. But people in Sierra Leone still continue to die from these diseases. So he mentioned that just if a fraction of the experts we have in the medical field would come home, then our healthcare would have the boost that it needs. But he was also talking about what would make it, how to incentivize their coming home. And he had mentioned that the government had a responsibility to develop and build those areas so that when people came home, they would be able to find the jobs that they need. They would be able to do the jobs that they are qualified to do and receive adequate compensation and not have to worry about whether they would be able to meet their obligations to their family, to their lives, and to other people who depend on them. So that was one thing he mentioned. But he also mentioned coming together, forming groups, coming together to become investors in Sierra Leone, especially in the area of tourism. He mentioned something about coming home to invest in infrastructure. Uh, Building your own personal home is one, but also building other kinds of infrastructure in the country, investing in roads, investing in, coming together as groups, forming maybe business alliances, coming together. Um, we also had mentioned something about flights. I know for sure where I live, it's a round trip ticket is $6,000. No joke, $6,000 a round trip ticket to Sierra Leone, flying into Lungi, and if you fly into Guinea, it's about half that amount. So he had mentioned also that the government is now currently in renegotiations with respect to the way the contract for the building of the terminal was done, that they realized that the way it was negotiated is not beneficial for Sierra Leone. And so they are currently into renegotiating, because this is only phase one and there are two more phases to come. And just paying off phase one, we're looking about 25 to 30 years. So if you imagine two more phases at the same rate of payback, that airport will not belong to Sierra Leone for another 100 years. And that's too many generations for us not to own an airport that is built on our land. At the top of the program, I had mentioned that there were some questions from the previous week that Dr. Conte had promised to answer all the questions from viewers from the previous week. But I had also mentioned that there were questions asked that would be better answered by the custodian of the APC Party and the Secretariat. And so those questions were not mentioned on this show. And my apologies, but please don't feel like we ignored you. We do encourage you to forward your questions to the appropriate party within the APC so that they can properly answer your question. He had mentioned that the work of the Tripartite Committee is well underway, and that they were working, that the subcommittee, the four-man subcommittee, had also completed their mandate, which was kind of overseeing and setting the terms of reference by which the Tripartite Committee should function, that work had been completed and submitted, and that now the Tripartite Committee had that in their hands, and they were going to work toward that. That yes, they did meet last Tuesday, and that they had started work in earnest. And I think those are the things that we have covered so far in this show. My sincere apologies for our connection issues today. We do hope that it will get better. I know Dr. Conte has tried to have improved connection by having his own modem and all of that stuff. But again, the strength of the modem is only based on the strength of the actual airwaves that we have. So unfortunately, if the towers are not able to carry the load, then this is where we see what we're seeing right now. I want to encourage you, if you are listening to us, please post your questions on any one of our social media platforms, or you can call in live to our line at +232 75 052 135. Again, that's +232 75 052 135. You can also connect with us online at www.unifier.com. That will connect you to all our social media platforms. We're on YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, X, WhatsApp, you name it, we're there. And if you have any questions that you'd like to ask, you can post them there. Failing that, I want to thank you all for tuning in. I know you didn't tune in to listen to me, you tuned in to listen to the Unifier. I'm glad we got to listen to him for part of the time in spite of the connection issues. But we invite you to join us again next week. Please know this show will be on every week at the same time, which I believe is 9 p.m. Sierra Leonean time. I am in Pacific time zone. It's 1 p.m. my time. Eastern time zone, it's 4 p.m. And so I encourage every one of you to join in again next week and listen to the Unifier. And because of our connection issues, we will end the show early today. We may be able to get Dr. Conte to record his parting comments to you and post it on the radio show so that you can tune in and listen to it later. Thank you so much for staying with us in spite of our connection issues. I want to again take the time to wish you a happy and a prosperous 2024. May God bring peace to Sierra Leone. May He bring unity, and may we all continue to see ourselves as brothers and sisters. It is okay for us to belong to different political persuasions. There's not a problem with that. That doesn't make us enemies. We're still brothers and sisters, because if you go far enough back in your family connections, you'll find out that whoever it is you're talking to, a perfect stranger you met on the street, you connect somewhere in your past, somewhere in your ancestry. So let's bear that in mind, and let's treat each other as brothers and sisters. Thank you. Have a good day.